What's up YouTube, it's your boy Rhett, back at it again with another video. Today we're diving back into the wonderful world of Bitcoin. We're going to be examining one of the biggest companies in the space, Square, and their very, very popular app, the Cash App. Or the Cash App if you listen to old Joe Rogan. Cash App recently made some really interesting Bitcoin related changes. So if you watch until the end of the video, you're going to be learning what the Cash App is, what Cash App is really good at when it comes to Bitcoin, why I will never use Cash App to buy Bitcoin, and then ultimately why you actually might want to use Cash App to buy Bitcoin. So sit back, relax, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and get ready to level up your brain. Let's go. So hopefully you already know what Cash App is. It's one of the biggest finance apps in the world. If not, Cash App is owned by Square, which is one of the biggest tech finance companies in the world, and it's actually co-founded by Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey. Cash App basically just allows you to connect your bank account and then quickly exchange money peer-to-peer with any other user of the Cash App. It's very similar to Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle, which is a service that links with banks. And so if you already are using one of those services, Cash App is very, very similar and operates in basically the same way. However, there is one big difference, and that's that the leadership of Cash App, namely Jack Dorsey, is a huge Bitcoin guy. So much so that in his Twitter profile, there's only one word, and that word is Bitcoin. Because Jack Dorsey is at the helm, Cash App has way more Bitcoin-friendly policies than Venmo or PayPal or a lot of the other traditional finance apps and traditional finance companies. So it's definitely better than a lot of those legacy options, but let's not get too excited. First, let's compare it to some of the other Bitcoin-native exchanges like Coinbase and Gemini that are already floating around in the space. So we're going to be comparing two main categories when we compare Cash App to Coinbase Pro and Gemini. We're going to be comparing the buy fee, or the fee that you pay when you buy Bitcoin, and then the transfer fee. So the fee that you pay when you transfer your Bitcoin from Gemini, Coinbase, or Cash App off of their exchange and into your own Bitcoin wallet that you have custody of. So over on Coinbase Pro, the fees for a buy order are 0.5%. So if you buy any amount of Bitcoin over on Coinbase Pro, you're going to be paying 0.5% on whatever that buy order is. So if you're buying $10, the fee is going to be 5 cents. Over at Gemini, the lowest fee they offer is 0.1%, which is even lower than Coinbase Pro's. But to take advantage of that fee, that 0.1% fee, you're going to have to place a limit order with Gemini's API. Additionally, when it comes to transfers, Gemini actually gives you 10 free transfers a month to any of your self-custody wallets or to BlockFi or any other platform that you're trying to move your crypto to. I think this 10 free transfer feature that Gemini has is basically way too good to ignore, and sort of by default and by virtue of this feature makes Gemini the best place to buy and sell and transfer crypto from. These free transfers are even more of a no-brainer when it comes to buying really high gas fee cryptos like Ethereum and the Ethereum derivatives, which I'm not really that into, but if you are into those, Gemini is definitely the best place to buy those because of this free transfer feature. And this is why I'm now doing all of my buys exclusively through Gemini's API. If you're also interested in removing these ridiculous on-chain transaction fees and high gas fees from your life, but you don't know how to get started with Gemini's API, go ahead and leave a comment. And if I see enough comments, I'll go ahead and I'll make a video about how to take advantage of Gemini's API, get these really low fees, and then take advantage of those 10 free transfers a month that Gemini is giving you. So now when you look at Cash App's fee structure, they're charging you 2% on any Bitcoin purchase. And that 2% is actually 4 times higher than what Coinbase Pro is charging you, and 20 times higher than what Gemini is charging you when you get that lowest fee. And then when you transfer your Bitcoin out of Cash App, you're also paying that on-chain transaction fee, which when you compare it to Coinbase Pro, you're still paying that fee, but then when you compare it to Gemini's 10 free transfers, you're obviously not paying that fee over at Gemini. And again, that's important because you really shouldn't be leaving your Bitcoin on an exchange like Cash App or Gemini or Coinbase Pro. You should really be moving it to your own self-custody wallet or to a platform like BlockFi that's going to give you interest at least on your Bitcoin for accepting that counterparty risk. You shouldn't be taking that counterparty risk, leaving your keys with some company and then not getting anything in return. So that's the fee structure over at Cash App. Next, let's take a look at what Cash App is actually really good at. The biggest thing that Cash App has done really well is Cash App has made it really, really easy to buy and sell Bitcoin. If you are interested in selling your Bitcoin, I made a video a couple weeks ago about what the best time is to sell your Bitcoin that I'll link up in the cards here somewhere. So definitely check that out before you go to sell. We go over some of the risks of selling and what the best possible time could be to sell. I think you'll learn a lot from that video. So over on Cash Cash App, basically all you do is link your bank account, deposit some dollars, head over to the trading tab down in the navigation bar at the bottom, head over to Bitcoin, and then when you hit buy, you'll see this screen here that shows you all of the transaction details, and then it also outlines that 2% fee that we talked about earlier. This whole process is much more intuitive than going over to Coinbase Pro and learning their sort of traditional, complicated trading interface. If you've never done a lot of trading before, maybe this is a little overwhelming to you the first time you see it. And so this Cash App user experience is way better than that. Additionally, it's a whole lot less technical than going over to Gemini and setting up access to their API and doing that low fee strategy that I outlined earlier. Additionally, something really great that Cash App does is when you go to buy, you can actually set up recurring buy purchases, which is something that not even Coinbase Pro allows you to do. And so if you do ignore that fee that we talked about, you are actually getting a lot of functionality here in Cash App. And if you are interested in dollar cost averaging over a long period of time, it's only a couple button clicks to make that happen, which is really nice. Additionally, Cash App just released another really interesting feature where it's now 100% free to send your Bitcoin from yourself to any other Cash App user within Cash App. This is great because you don't have to pay any ridiculous on-chain transaction fees when you just want to send some Bitcoin to your friends for a bet, or maybe you need to pay them back or something. If they have Cash App, which they probably do, a lot of people have Cash App now, you can just send that Bitcoin back and forth to users within Cash App. Just remember though that when you're holding your Bitcoin in Cash App, it's not really your Bitcoin. It's an IOU on Bitcoin that Cash App is holding for you. If that doesn't make any sense to you, or if that's really confusing, I made a video last week that outlines the different ways that you can go about storing your Bitcoin, and I think that that will help answer a lot of your questions. If you're confused about, okay, should I leave my Bitcoin on an exchange? Should I be taking it off to cold storage? Should I be sending it to BlockFi? We go over all of those options and some more options in that video. So overall, Cash App is really great because number one, it's super simple. And then number two, you can really cheaply send Bitcoin to your friends that also have Cash App. So it's a really easy way to avoid those transaction fees. So next, let's talk about whether or not you should be using Cash App when you're going to buy Bitcoin. If when I was going on about Gemini and setting up that API, you were thinking, you Rhett, that sounds totally ridiculous. I don't know how to code and I'm not about to put that work in. And if you don't want to put any work in setting up a Coinbase account and you're already really comfortable with Cash App, then I'd say go ahead and use Cash App. It's super simple and it's going to really easily allow you to set up a scheme that lets you dollar cost average over time. But before you make your decision, sit with me for a minute and we're going to do some math. And if you just said to yourself, you Rhett, I don't want to do any math, then go use Cash App and get out of here, because we're about to talk about how expensive that decision of using Cash App is going to be for you depending on how much Bitcoin you're actually buying. So if you buy $100 of Bitcoin a year, it's going to cost you $1.50 to use Cash App over Coinbase Pro, and it's going to cost you $1.90 plus all your transaction fees to use Cash App over Gemini. So if you're only buying $100 a year, you're only losing a couple bucks to using Cash App. Not a big deal. If you buy $1,000 of Bitcoin a year, now you are losing $15 versus Coinbase Pro, and you're losing $19 plus all your transfer fees versus Gemini. So at $1,000, it's a little iffy. Do you want to be spending $15 to $20 a year just to use Cash App and not just learn how to use Gemini or Coinbase Pro? That's sort of an iffy decision. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So let's keep going. If you're putting $10,000 plus into Bitcoin a year, you are now losing $150 a year versus using Coinbase Pro, and you're losing $190 a year plus transfer fees versus Gemini. And that's where I think it really no longer makes sense to use Cash App to buy Bitcoin. In my opinion, you're going to be way better off when you start to hit that couple $1,000 mark, just taking the time to learn those other platforms instead of sticking with the simplicity of Cash App. However, if you are not really serious about Bitcoin and you're only putting in small amounts, you can probably get by with Cash App, to be honest. You are going to be paying a little bit more in fees, but at such low amounts, it doesn't really matter that much. And the convenience of sending Bitcoin for free to your other friends that are using Cash App is probably going to be really great for you. You're not going to have to set up a wallet or pay on-chain transaction fees or anything like that. So down below in the comments, let me know if you're going to be using Cash App to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to be sticking with Gemini for now. Those really low API fees and those free transfers of Bitcoin and any other crypto that I buy on Gemini are just way too good to pass up. If you want to see any of the other exchanges that I recommend, I'll link that video up in a card up here. It's just a video on my favorite exchanges and the places that I used to buy Bitcoin. So if you're looking for any more information or you're just really interested in the topic, go ahead and check that video out. And then if you are interested in Cash App or Gemini or anything that we talked about in this video, go ahead down in the description and there will be links for everything down there. Like the video if you learned something, and subscribe for more tech, money, and success videos every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern. The channel has been growing ridiculously fast recently. I think it's up like over 100% in the last month, which is totally nuts. I made a joke in a couple videos ago that was like, we're gonna need more buses to fit all of us in. I've been looking at buses and I don't even know if there are buses that hold 300 people anymore. So we're now duct taping buses together to fit us all in. That's it for today. I love you all. Goodbye.